It's great. People love it, and I love the fact that it gets people into the game and people have fun with it. But can we do more? Yeah, we can do more. I'd like to see Ellie De La Cruz race whoever might be the second fastest guy in the league. How about Tatis?
Ken Rosenthal with us right now. Wow, look at this.
I mean, this is strong Ken right now.
This is really strong. It's a strong connection. It looks like a gorgeous day. Yes, boots on the ground. He is covering Dodgers Yankees this weekend. So how is it there, Ken? Looks like weather-wise a beautiful day.
Hideous.
It's beautiful, yeah, no question about it. In fact, for New York this time of year, it's pretty great. And you see the Dodgers taking some early BP behind me. And obviously there's a lot of anticipation for this series. And obviously everyone is waiting to hear about Juan Soto and just how he's doing with that left forearm.
Yeah, so let's double click on that. What are you hearing? And this is not something that popped up a day ago, too. So we just heard that it's been, about a week and a half since it's been a problem for him?
Right, Scott, not hearing anything yet. And he was getting imaging, I believe, early this afternoon. After that, we'll know. I know Yankee fans are freaking out because this is the same kind of thing, same verbiage you heard last year with Dominguez before he had Tommy John. Obviously, there's no sense speculating right now until we know a little bit more, and I would imagine we'll know more today.
What questions are you going to ask Juan or staff, like, as far as if it is something? Are you going to ask around, well, hey, I'll just let you ask. What kind of questions are you going to ask? Because I was thinking, like, does he DH, like a Harper kind of thing, or is it that will put him on the IL?
That's a great question for starters, Eric. And it's different with Juan Soto because why? He's a free agent at the end of the season. So he might determine it's best to have the surgery now. He might determine it's best to play. But I would think he'd probably want it sooner than later. So for his next team, he's as healthy as soon as possible. To answer your question, which question would I ask? I would want to know why there wasn't imaging sooner. And there might be a very good reason for that. Maybe it was, in his mind, minor and they didn't see a real reason to do anything. But that's a question that's kind of lingering right now. If it's hurting you for a week and a half, why don't you get it imaged right away? But again, we're all jumping to conclusions here, and there might be a very valid reason why he decided to wait. Maybe he just thought it was nothing and it would go away. Maybe he's had this kind of thing before and it went away. So, again, it's a little early to talk about any of the possibilities here, but clearly there are all kinds of implications. Implications, perhaps, for this great Yankees team that we've seen dominate the first 2+ months. Implications, of course, for Soto's future. I don't know that it would affect his free agency too much because he's going to sign a long, long deal. But at the same time, he'd rather go into free agency with a monster season than one in which he is dealing with an elbow issue or surgery.
And for more on that dominance, you wrote about the Judge-Soto combination. So can you give us a little summary of what to expect for people that haven't seen the article yet?
Yeah, this was a fun one, Scott. And in spring training, someone with the Yankees came up to me and said, hey, you tell me, better left-right combination in Major League history. And I was thinking, come on, man. Shohei and Mookie might be better right now. Freddie and Mookie might be better right now. So now the season's played out a little bit, and that Yankee official texted me about 2 weeks ago saying, what are you thinking? And I started doing research on the numbers, not just the current guys, but through the live ball era, going back to 1920. And it's interesting. Right now, I used OPS plus. These two guys, Judge and Soto, are 1-2 in OPS plus, right, left. Only twice before have we seen 1-2 in OPS plus. 1989, this one surprised me. Kevin Mitchell and Will Clark. In 1959, Milwaukee Braves, Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews. All the other ones, the other combinations you might think of, were never 1-2. Now, obviously, Ruth and Gehrig, both left-handed hitters, they were 1-2 in 6 or 7 seasons, I believe. And you have circumstances with switch hitters that don't figure into what I was writing about. But all I was talking about was left-right, right-left. And these two, at the present rate, would be one of the all-time great combos.
What about Edgar and Griffey?
I looked at Edgar and Griffey, and they were never the best from each side in a given season. They were great. What about Ortiz and Ramirez? I looked at all of these. And DiMaggio and Gehrig was another one. DiMaggio and Gehrig, they were first and third in 1937. So, again, I was looking for 1-2, guys, the best from each side, and it's only happened twice. And right now, it's happening again. Let's hope Soto stays healthy. We can see the rest of this play out.
FT is headed to the MLB All-Star Game this year, and there's only one way you should be finding tickets for any ball game. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, so they have you covered for all of your baseball ticket needs.
I'm super pumped to hit the Futures game this year. That new skills competition looks electric.
I agree, Kratz. It's like the Olympics for baseball. Cannot wait to see that. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. Baseball season's in full swing, and you don't want to miss out. SeatGeek has your tickets to every game and, of course, concerts, festivals, and more.
Every ticket's backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps.
And Kratz, you know FT came through for the people. Use our code FOUL for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code FOUL. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app, please.
Yeah, but these guys are doing it against people throwing 85.
Well, it's a little different. There's no question about it. It's a little different right now. Even Will Clark and Kevin Mitchell, they were not facing pitching quite like this, right? I mean, it's just not the same.
No, it's a good call. You know, I think about Trout when he's been on this show a couple times, and he mentions it
Trout
every
show,
time. Trout's like, when I came into the league versus now, he's like, damn, man. And obviously, he's still putting up crazy numbers when he's on the field, but he's like, this is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's so much more challenging to hit a baseball in his mind. All right, I want to take us in a different direction. I've seen this pop up on various shows and in various baseball conversations, and just wanted to get your take on this, Ken. With all of the parity that has popped up, especially in the National League this year, number one, do you think it will hurt the trade deadline? And number two, do you think this is going to continue to set a precedent for teams to feel that the middle is okay, that you don't have to be all in or all out? Because I'm wondering if that's good for the game.
Scott, two great questions. And I addressed this a little bit on Fair Territory yesterday with Alana. Obviously, when you have this many teams still in contention, and granted, we're almost 2 months from the deadline, some of these teams will fall out of it, right? But when you have this many this close, there are going to be a shortage of sellers. And keep in mind, last year, August 14th it was, the Diamondbacks were still under 500. They were 59-60. They wind up with 84 wins. Great year considering where they were, but that gives these lesser teams hope. Now, to your other question, this was a concern the union had with expanded playoffs. Will certain teams just not feel like they need to try because obviously they're going to get in? What we've seen so far, to me, does not support that. And you look at the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, those teams have all spent big still. Even though expanded playoffs, the Dodgers, for instance, they're going to get in. We all know they're going to get in. So I don't know that it's limited teams at the top. And then you say, okay, what about the middle? Will teams just not try? But actually, it seems to me, and Scott, you have a different opinion. Feel free to let me know. But it seems to me teams like the Royals, the Tigers, the Reds, they're trying harder. And they've spent some money. Now, it's not across the board. The Pirates are still the Pirates, of course. But even the Pirates signed a few free agents last offseason. So it seems to me, for the most part, teams are trying to get in. And they're just trying to get into the postseason and spending some money to do that rather than simply saying, you know what, this is not a big deal. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah, the one follow I have is the winning window conversation. Most of the time, it's just not so clear cut, right? The Rangers' winning window was supposed to start this year. Oops, it started last year and they won the World Series. So do you think that's the other part of the conversation where, we do have front offices that are so heavily reliant on data and projections that sometimes they overlook the fact that their team might be better sooner and worse later?
Scott, bingo. And you're hitting something with me that hits a nerve because it drives me nuts when teams will say, we're not quite ready yet. We're good, but we're not as good as we're going to be in 3 years. Guys, you have a chance to win, chance to even get into the playoffs. Let's take Pittsburgh as an example. And I know I've harped on this, but I'm going to keep harping on it. They have a chance here to end a cycle of losing. They've got Skeens and Jones. Now, I know they'll be on innings limits at some point. I understand that you can't go all out with them this year. What you can do is make some moves at the deadline to reinforce what you have, to get some more offense. Act like a team that has a chance instead of playing for tomorrow. And an old baseball writer friend of mine once said, you keep playing for tomorrow and you never win today. And it's so true.
That's a great comment. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely a tomorrow question, not for actual tomorrow, but the All-Star race. How do you see it shaping up? And it's going to get us to the hot topic button items of, does Paul Skeens get in? Is he the Pirates candidate? Should we have young guys that maybe don't deserve it? Where do you see that playing out?
All right, I'm always on the side, Eric, of a guy like Paul Skeens getting in. And I don't care if he's only made X number of starts or pitched that many innings, whatever. Is this guy a star right now in this game? Is he someone fans want to see? That's the criteria here. Do fans want to see a player? I remember going way back about 20 years ago, Dontrell Willis was Paul Skeens at one point. And they had to move mountains and everything else to get him into the All-Star game, and it was ridiculous. So to me, a guy like that, it's almost an automatic. Even if he's not the most deserving, even if he doesn't have the most innings, it doesn't matter. He is a star. There's no question. Guys like Ellie De La Cruz kind of fall into the same category. You want to see him on the field. So that's where I am with this. There are going to be some interesting things going on here, and AL shortstop certainly is one of them. You've got Gunnar, you've got Bobby Witt Jr., you've got Volpe having a really good year as well, and you've got Corey Seager, World Series MVP, at a time when the All-Star game, is being played in his home park. So are Texas fans going to stuff the ballot box? Is Bobby Witt or Gunnar Henderson going to be denied because of that? That's one thing that is going to be really interesting. And the other one, National League outfield. Noah Cunha, Harper's at first base, Mookie's somewhere in the infield behind me. You don't have the same outfielders that you've had in the past. You've got guys like Jerkson Profar and Jesse Winker leading NL outfielders in OPS. So that's going to be an interesting one to play out as well.
Well, Ken, though, if Skeens is such a star and he's obviously getting a lot of coverage here, like the star that he is, he's going to be in an all-star for many years to come. What do you say then to that one guy who's knocking on the door, or maybe he has a chance to be that one-time all-star that's deserving, that Skeens would probably take the spot of? So I'm with you where fans probably want to see Skeens in there. They're going to for a lot of years. But how are you going to handle that, or how are you going to approach that conversation to player X that isn't always going to be there for years to come?
Jason, very fair question. My answer to that would be, are we really sure Paul Skeens is going to be here in 2 years or 3 years? We don't know that. We don't know what's going to happen.
You're probably more sure than player X.
You probably are more sure than player X. That's fair. But at the same time, I go back to, this is a fans game. And we have all MLB teams at the end of the year that are voted on by media and experts in the game that are deserving honor for players like player X, the one we're talking about. I just believe the most exciting players should be there. And yeah, certainly there are going to be some snubs. But Jason, my gosh, you've seen this. I've seen this over the years. There's something like 80 All-Stars now. By the time all the guys back out, the injured guys, it seems to be everyone gets a participation trophy. That hasn't been a problem.
Wow.
Easy,
love
Ken.
that.
I like
Sometimes
Ken.
it's a very select
Hey!
few, and it's an honor.
No. It's 10% of the sport getting to the All-Star game every year.
Ken bringing
It's not the
absolute
Pro Bowl
fire.
for the NFL.
Hey, when Ken's in New York, he brings a little extra fire. He's diminishing your
That's right.
All-Star,
Oh, that's
and he's
what I'm
diminishing
hearing.
and he's diminishing my career because I never made an All-Star game.
I'm not
So if I was-
diminishing anything. All I'm saying is, guys, I don't think, for the most part, we'll talk when the selections are made, or who got snubbed, who should be in the game.
Yep.
Those guys invariably get in. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I know. And
Good
we're
save.
giving you a hard time because you're in New York and you're enjoying it. One last question here, because Claudia wants it to be the last question. We'd love to have you on for a lot longer.
He also has a job to do.
Right,
We need
Claudia.
Soto news.
Eh, whatever. We need the Soto. we need the Soto news. But my question is skills competition in the All-Star game. Are you for or against it? Because my opinion is we put a machine up and they start firing balls at 100 miles an hour. Then they turn it up to 105. Then they turn it up to 110. And we just go and see how long it takes till guys can't hit it anymore. That's one of the skills. Are you for or against the skills competition in the All-Star game?
Eric, I am for fun. And if that is something that people think is going to be fun, let's have at it. And we can certainly juice up the All-Star game beyond the Derby. The Derby, for me, I don't want to say it's jumped the shark, but it's great. People love it, and I love the fact that it gets people into the game and people have fun with it. But can we do more? Yeah, we can do more. I'd like to see Ellie De La Cruz race whoever might be the second fastest guy in the league. How about Tatis? Now, I know players probably wouldn't do that because it's a risk of injury, but anything along those lines would be cool.
Eric Kratz here from FT. I'm a former athlete that really pays attention to his routine. And AG1 every morning before my workouts is something that gets my day going.
Hey, Braun here. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut health support, and it's backed by multiple research studies so you can trust what you're putting in your body.
Unlike other products which only test their ingredients in isolation, AG1 tests their formula as a whole.
Ready for this stat? 97% of people in a research study felt more energy after 30 days of drinking AG1. If I had to recommend one product to support whole body health, it's AG1, and that's why FT is excited to have them as a new partner. Starting your journey with AG1 is a win. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/foul. That's drinkag1.com/FOUL. Go check it out, FT fam. Yeah, I agree. And we brought this up because of the futures game. So for any fans that are like, why is this coming up randomly? They're going to have some of these, not Kratz's idea, but they're going to have some fun games, some competitions that I think is cool too. I agree. Why not? Try it out. It's an entertainment.
Minor leaguers,
They do it in Japan. They do it.
Yeah, they do it. They have the bunting drills in Japan, so it's going to be fun. Ken, enjoy the series, and we'll look out for Report Yes.
Ken, I know you knew AJ wasn't going to be on today, so he wasn't going to say anything about your shirt. But man, that shirt is hot. You glurbing tonight?
No.
Looking sharp, Kenny.
I'm doing my usual. I'll be in the hotel room, you know. But I appreciate the compliment, Eric. Eric, yeah. I appreciate the compliment because, of course, AJ is constantly criticizing my choice of attire. And AJ also missed this week while he's in posh London. I was at a Residence Inn, and you couldn't comment on that either. Maybe we'll bring that back for next week.
I think
exactly.
We should.
Oh, I'm gone next week,
I think
too.
We
so
should.
AJ will be all over me. Yeah, AJ's back hot next week on Monday, and so is Ken. Thank you so much, Ken. Appreciate you. Enjoy the series.
Thanks, guys.
FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal and Star of Fair Territory, which you can check out on Monday for a new episode, or you can check out yesterday's new episode on YouTube or wherever you get your pods.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.